The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. As Jesus was passing through a field of grain on the Sabbath, his disciples began to make a path while picking the heads of grain. At this, the Pharisees said to him, "Look, why are they doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath?" Jesus said to them, "Have you never read what David did when he was in need and he and his companions were hungry? How he went into the house of God when Abiathar was high priest and ate the bread of offering that only the priests could lawfully eat, and shared it with his companions. Then he said to them, 'The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. That is why the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath.'" The Gospel of the Lord. Sabbath is something that is necessary for us, for our well-being. The symbolic action of God in resting on the seventh day after 6 days of creation has always been seen as a sign to us that God gives us for our well-being. What that means is that we are really not to simply rest for our own sakes, but rest in order to build our relationship with God and with one another. So even the Sabbath, the time of rest, and for many of us, we are in the Sabbath of the twilight of our lives. In other words, retirement, when many of the productive things that characterized our lives are now something of the past. And so what do we focus on? Well, in this Sabbath, we focus not just on the thing that some of us may have thought about before retirement. Oh boy, I can play as much golf as I want to. I can read all the time. I can watch soap operas all the time. I can this and I can that. Well, we know that all of those kinds of things tend to become boring, difficult, dull. What this time is given to us for now is to fulfill the meaning of our lives by the quality of our presence for one another. And sometimes that quality of presence simply means we can't do anything except pray, to pray for one another. And then when the opportunity comes to do some good work, to do some encouraging word, to perhaps help clean up a mess, well, then we say, okay, I can do that. That is what I am able to do for others in this Sabbath time of our lives. So this command that Jesus gives about the Sabbath was made for us, for one another, for our community, for our relationship with God. We were not made simply to fulfill some kind of a rule. That really applies to us even now at this time in our lives.